Howdy everyone, this is D-Vang. Welcome to episode 24 of the Outlaw Joseph Scott's, entitled One Fine Day. Joseph is now in town after spending an adventure out in the Targa Plateau. We did end last episode with him doing a few things in town as part of the end of the mission. And so here we are. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pick up from there. Enjoy.
All right, everyone. Here we are in town. Now we did have a little bit of town that was done at the end of the last session, which was Joseph did travel. He did have an event, travel hazard, which was an Indian attack by the Black Fang tribe, which he avoided and got a little bit of experience and did not lose any Darkstone. And then he came to town and was able to successfully help the town with their ritual to get rid of all the unfrozen monsters that had started rampaging through the town, so none of the buildings were destroyed. I did add up my experience, and Joseph is actually just shy. He's about 500 experience shy of leveling to level 6. So it looks like the next adventure, he will be leveling up. So that's pretty exciting. I need to figure out what path line he's going to go next, because he's finished up one of them, and I think we'll talk about that a little bit at the end of this session. So here we are at town. Well, obviously Joseph has 2 Darkstone, and well, he needs to pay to stay at the hotel as usual, is $10, and then he is going to sell the axe for $200, and he's going to sell these matches for $10. Obviously he doesn't need Voices in the Dark since he's by himself. And there you go. So, pretty much same old to some extent. Most important, Joseph wants to go to day 1. He wants to go to the blacksmith. He wants to pick up some replacement Darkstone bullets. He has 2 Darkstone here that he picked up. So one of them is going to get saved up. One of them is going to go towards new Darkstone bullets. And then he does have 1 corruption point, which he will need to get removed. He couldn't last time he was in town because the doctor's office closed, and at the church his event made rituals, of which the corruption removal was one. Required a Darkstone to perform, and he was out of Darkstone. He had spent all of it to upgrade his second pistol and buy the Darkstone bullets. So he still has that 1 corruption. Luckily he did not gain any more at the end of the last episode. So here we are at the blacksmith for day 1. Let us see what the event is. A 6. A 6 is no event. Just smoke and horse manure. No event. So Joseph will spend his $200 and his 1 Darkstone, one of his 2 Darkstones, in order to pick up some more Darkstone bullets. And that will be the end of day 1. I know that went really fast. Not a lot of decision making there. I think that's a pretty good standard for him. So let's see. First, we need to see if he is recognized. That's one of the downsides of the Outlaw here. Ooh, so he gets 2 of those. So he is recognized twice. So that's going to actually be plus 20 experience. But he does have to pay $100, 2 payoffs, for them to keep their mouth shut, so that Joseph can stay in town. And let's see if there's a town event. There is not. So we are up to day 2. Day 2. Day 2, Joseph is going to go to the doctor's office. So we want to try to get rid of that corruption And probably get the anti-venom injection in case he runs into some more void spiders or the, bog bats or something. So we're going to go doctor's office for day 2. Alright, now let's see what happens. Oops. Sorry about that. See, I have this dice issue. A 3, that doesn't sound good. Plague tent. The doc has his hands full as a demonic plague has spread through the town. Make a luck 5+ test. If failed, you contract the plague, gain D3 corruption points with no willpower save, and you're reduced to max grit 1 during the next adventure. Blah. Alright. Well, his luck is 4, so at least he has a pretty good luck. And he needs a 5+ test. And he succeeds, so he does not contract the plague. Thank goodness. So, he is there. First thing he's going to do, he'll spend $100 to get rid of his 1 corruption. And that will remove it automatically. Then he has to roll, and he gets a 6, so he does not take any wounds. Things are going well for Joseph so far, but of course, now that I just said that, they will not go quite so well. And here we go, back at the hotel. And Joseph has to roll for day 2 to see if he's recognized. He's not recognized by anybody. Thank goodness. And now we see if we have an event. We do not. Wow, that's I'm not sure that Joseph has ever gone 2 days without getting an event. Let's see. Day 3. Wow, jeez. So what do we want to do? Do we want to gamble? Do we want to rob the bank? We know how much Joseph loves to rob the bank, but he did not do very well last time. But I think we will. I think we will go to the saloon. We're going to kind of do the same thing. I think we'll go to the saloon. That way we can get another grit from the saloon girl. And potentially make some money. And then, then we'll go to the outpost and let's see what we can do. We'll push our luck here a little bit. So at the saloon, the event is a 7, which I think generally those are nothing. Oh, a good time. I can pay $10 and get a grit. Well, I think he will go ahead and do that. And he had a good time last time. And that actually worked out pretty well. So he'll pay his $10. And his max grit is 3, so he will go ahead and visit the saloon girl for $50. That gives him another 10 experience points. And gives him a 3rd grit. And then he's going to go ahead and we'll start with the Brimstone Craps. Making a luck 5+ test. He's got 4 dice. Succeeds 3 times. Alright, so that's actually plus $200 for that. Excellent. Having a good old time. Well, he'll play some poker. His cunning's not as good. He's only got 3 dice. Oh, and he loses 50. And it's not... Well, I do have 3 grit. And I don't think I need that many. So I'm gonna pay 1 grit. Here, we'll re-roll these. Give me a shot. Ha! Better. His luck is smiling. So he actually gains $50. Which is excellent. There's nothing that he wants to buy. Again, he's low on anvil space for being able to carry things, and he actually hasn't used much in his side bag in a while. He's got 2 bandages and herbs and 2 whiskeys, so he's in pretty good shape. So at this point, I guess that will be the end of day 3. Already, Joseph goes to the hotel. Spends his $10. Let's see if somebody recognizes him. 3 people. 3 people recognize him. Well, that's going to be $150 that he's putting out. Ouch. That's getting kind of expensive. His renown as an outlaw. And let's see if he has a town event. He does. Okay, well that will reset down. And we have a town event. So let's see how many buildings Joseph can destroy this time. A 9. Intense dread. A dark cloud on the horizon makes your soul sink as you see a void twister in the distance wipe through a neighboring town. Oh, so it didn't come through this town. Usually, Joseph is the lodestone for that. Each hero has to make a Cunning 6+ test. Cunning's 3. Alright, well, let's see what happens here. He fails. So his options are, if successful, he'll gain 10 experience. If failed, take a D6 plus 3 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. So he'll basically be going in with sanity damage. And if no hero passes, add a growing dread card to the stack at the start of the next adventure. Well, he's got 2 grit, so I'm going to go ahead and use another grit. As much as I wanted to save that for robbing the bank, let's give it another shot. Cunning 6+ test. Still failed. Was not good. So he will have a growing dread at the start, and we need to see how much he gets. He gets, well, it's not too bad. So 4 sanity damage for the start of the next adventure. Keep that on there with him. And he will have a growing dread card at the start of the next adventure. So automatically 1 extra growing dread card, which is, those are not pleasant. Those are not pleasant. But the day did reset. Unfortunately, he took a grit. One last day, I think. Joseph can go to... we'll go ahead and go to the... He's got some money. Now, he might want to save it. That is going to be the good question. If we look at the blacksmith, he doesn't have a lot of darkstone. That would be the challenge. It is, say, 700 for the inlay. That's the rerolls. It's only 225 though, but 6 darkstone to get the range. And I think everybody was kind of for the most part agreeing with me, thinking that the +4 range on both guns might be the best option. So it doesn't require a lot of money. I've got not quite 1,400 right now. So I think what Joseph's going to do. So we're going to go to the Frontier Outpost. Hopefully Joseph can make some more money, and hopefully if he can rob the bank here, he'll get it back up. First thing he's going to do, he's going to train with the soldiers. They don't know any better. He's going to spend the 500, and he's going to train with the soldiers, and that will give him a D6 times 25 experience. He gets 3, so that gets him 75 more experience. Which would be nice. And he can't get bounties. He doesn't want to sell his 1 darkstone. Now he's going to hold up the bank. He trained with them, got to know them, learned their patterns. Now he's going to rob the bank. So he's going to make an agility 5+ test. For each 5+ rolled, he's going to get some money. For each 1 rolled, he takes some hits. And if he completely fails, then he's arrested. He has 1 grit to do this. Okay, so he can take some hits, and he does get to... I think I'm going to use the grit, because I won't need it to try to escape, obviously. So that's 2 successes, and let's see if we can get some more. If nothing else, it'll get rid of that 1, hopefully. Well, no, didn't help at all. Alright, but each of those 5s will give him a D6 times $25. So there's 175. Oh, sorry, D6 times 50. Man, I was looking at the Selling the Dark Zone. D6 times 50 for each of those. So that's 200, 350. Almost makes up for some of that. But he does take a D6 hits. So he takes 6 hits. So he gets 6 defense rolls. You know, I think I've been forgetting these, and I keep thinking, if that makes sense, that when I take hits, that they're actual wounds without saves, because a lot of things are. But these are actually just hits during the shootout, so he does get his defense and he does get his armor. So here's his defense, which saves 3 of them, and then he gets his armor saves, which saves 2 of them. So he takes one wound going into the next adventure. It's not too horrible. And that will be the end of that day. So Joseph goes back to the hotel. Let us see if somebody recognizes him again. Somebody does, although it's only one person. So that will be another $50. And let us see if there is another town event. Oops, into the box. Again, I have a dice problem. All right, there is no town event, and I think that's all Joseph needs to do or wants to do. I mean, he can't hold the bank up again. Nothing really that he wants to buy. I do, you know, he's down a little bit of money. He's got not quite 1,200 after all of that. I don't think he wants to, you know, he doesn't, nothing he particularly wants to buy. At some point he would like to buy a horse, but I think I want to save up and let's see what we get. Now, so we're at the end here, and I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about leveling up Joseph. So he has gone through, he's currently level 5, which means he's gotten 4 upgrades. And the max is level 8. So basically there's 3 more upgrades we got. So here's the Outlaw upgrade chart. And he's gone down this shooting line. So he already has all 4 of these. The last one's the Yeehaw, which gives him the extra damage with his Outlaw pistols. So that's all done. So he can basically he can have 3 more. Now he's got the option of these 3 lines. You got Infamy, Charm, and On the Run. Now this Charm line is essentially group oriented. So this first one, Charisma, is you can heal D3 Sanity to an adjacent hero. Second one is, again, you can do something for other heroes. Third one, so it's all other heroes. And it's not all that great for himself. I mean, some of them are. You know, the third one, he can use a grit to heal wounds on every hero on the map tile, including himself. You know, so in the fourth one, he can heal himself a bit too. But obviously, we can't get to the fourth one. I don't know that that's necessarily going to be a good line to go down. I mean, he gets a little bit of health and a little bit of luck, and the max grit would be nice to get him to 4, because he does have the eye patch, which gives him, once per adventure, he can go up to his max grit. So being able to up his max grit wouldn't be bad. But I don't think that's a particularly good line. So, simply because the rest of it isn't all that useful. We do have this On the Run line, which is actually kind of neat. Duck and Dive, so this is when he rolls doubles for his movement. He automatically escapes and can add them together, which is nice, but Joseph, I mean, with only one hero, there isn't a lot of moving around that he can do. He's usually surrounded and can't move. Sometimes that could be useful, and certainly I have tended to roll a lot of doubles for movement, but you know, it's all right. I won't say it's great, but it's all right. Patch Me Up Doc, the second one in the line, It says once per town visit while in the doc's office, you can use a grit to get a surgery for free, and it's a max grit. Well, if we look at surgeries are only, removing injuries and mutations. Well, Joseph actually hasn't had any injuries or mutations. Now, knock on wood, he won't have too many more. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a particularly useful skill, especially since grit is often used up, especially for Joseph, because I like to rob the bank, and it's always good to have some spare, a grit to rob the bank with. So that's okay. I really only want it for the max grit, per se. And the third one on that line, if I would go all the way down, clean getaway, once per turn, he can use grit to prevent a number of wounds or sanity damage you would take from a single source equal to your luck. Well, his luck's 4, so he could prevent 4 damage from a single source by using 1 grit. Very handy. I think that is a good ability. The question is it worth getting up there? It also doesn't give him any other stat bonuses. Not bad. So the on the run line's not a bad line per se. Then we have the infamy line here, that second line. So the first one's renown. He can start each adventure and traveling with an extra grit. That's pretty handy. And he gets +1 agility. Agility is the key stat for robbing the bank. So that would put him up to a 5 agility. At minimum, obviously, he on his level up, he might roll an agility increase. So, but that's an extra die to get extra money. It is an extra die to potentially take wounds, but it's also an extra die to succeed. We saw that it could be dangerous if he robs the bank and fails and then can't flee. He could get killed. I mean, just outright killed. So that's not bad. That's not bad, and it's a dex starting with an extra grit for the first battle that he runs into. If he doesn't roll, to any ones to get grit, could be very useful. And of course, starting town with a grit. With an extra grit, with 2 grit, is pretty nice. All right. The second one is Darkstone Bandit. When holding up the outpost bank in town for any 5+ rolled, instead of money, he can get D3 Darkstone. And it gives him +1 cunning. Cunning has been used for not just the gambling, but also for him escaping if he gets captured trying to rob the bank. Plus, this might alleviate the single player, issue that he's having with trying to, gain Darkstone enough to get some upgrades. Okay, sorry about that. Interruptions, phone calls. All right, so this, as I was saying, this second one here with the Darkstone, there we are, Darkstone Bandit, holding up the bank. He can get Darkstone instead of money, plus a cunning, and the cunning obviously is very useful for escaping if he gets caught, if he actually manages to fail robbing the bank, which we did see happen. And it is useful for other things, for gambling, and of course, as I said, getting more Darkstone. Simply, if he doesn't need the money, he can get Darkstone instead, which would greatly speed up his ability to upgrade his weapons, especially if we look here at this third one in that line called Personal Touch. Your Outlaw pistols are now considered to have 1 extra upgrade slot, so that would mean 4, and no longer count as an anvil, so they never have a weight, and +1 luck. Luck is good for a number of things, especially gambling, but extra upgrade slots, so basically they would have 4, and obviously he's used 1 for each of them to have the grip, and if it gives them the barrel, that's another 1. But that would leave 2 left at that point, which we had already kind of spoken of. For 2, he can get the rerolls. The Darkstone Inlay for uses 2, so he could even conceivably get both the barrel upgrade and the extra reroll per die. Alternately, he could pick up a void assembly to add a peril die of damage, or he could add runes of regeneration, or some other upgrades, runes of protection. He could get some of those, runes of fortitude, things like that. In addition to he'd have 2 slots left, and then of course the extra weight. I mean, I think I mentioned every single time. Right now he's only got 1. It's difficult for him because he keeps having to, last time he had to drop the Trun shotgun, the disintegrator, because he couldn't carry it. He only has 1 weight that he can pick up as a new item, and he at one point even had a bunch of items that he would have liked to keep, but considering that he then would not be able to pick up anything new and be able to sell anything new, I've been consistently trying to keep 1 available for him to pick up something that he can sell for a couple $100. So that would reduce his weight by 2, and that would be a significant upgrade. Now, obviously, that's 3 levels from now. That's going to be when he's going to hit level 8. So that's going to be very, very towards the end of Joseph's career, assuming he lives that long. So that is something else to keep in mind, is that third, either the clean getaway for preventing damage or this personal touch, is going to be quite a ways from now. That said, I am leaning towards that infamy line. I like the starting with the extra grit and the bonus to agility. And the next one is being able to steal Darkstone, take Darkstone from the bank instead of money, plus a cunning. I think that's going to be very useful for getting him closer to the upgrades, especially the barrel upgrade. Again, that is a ways away. He's only just getting into the 6th level 6, and he would need to get to level 7. So it may not matter. He may have enough Darkstone for that. But there are some, he will have he will still have 1 upgrade slot on each pistol, which he could slot something else like the void assembly for an extra peril die of damage kind of thing, which would be really handy. And that does require 15 Darkstone each. So, and actually, even if he steals Darkstone, he could sell it, although it's actually better to rob the bank because you get a D6 times 50 for robbing the bank, as opposed to a D6 times 25 selling Darkstone, and he's only getting a D3 Darkstone. But, anyway, just letting you know, so those are my thoughts. Feel free to chime in if you want to weigh in. If you think On the Run might just be a better option for him, and we'll go from there. So that is the end of Joseph's Town stay here in this episode 24. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see what happens to Joseph next week. Thanks.